Good evening. This is This Week Tonight. And this evening, on the 4th of July, we've got Jim McIntosh. Jim, welcome.
Hi, welcome. Good to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, you've been on Nantucket how long?
82 or 83, I came.
Okay, 82 or 83. What brought you here?
Actually, I came on a 3-day vacation.
Yeah.
And my father said, boy, you should go to Nantucket. I've been living at home for 23 years. And he said, you know, he came up here and looked for a house. And he said, well, his wife didn't want to live on the island. She lived in Montauk for a long time for summer, and that was too far out there, and she didn't want to live on an island. So he said, you should come up here and look. So I came up here in 3 days, stayed 3 weeks, called home and said, you know, I think I'll stay. It's not a bad place.
It's not a bad place. And what do you do now?
I'm a landscaper now.
Okay.
I've been doing that for 20 years.
All right.
And I really enjoy it. Before that, I was a carpenter, and I worked for a variety of people out here, Howard Jellamy and Rob Anderson,
Sure.
and Clay Evans. And I really had a great time, met a lot of good people.
Now, with the landscaping, what do you see on the horizon in terms of our water here? Do you deal with the fertigation at all? Are you familiar with fertigation?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But this island has a real problem, and they don't want to admit it. It's like they have the fertilization problem.
Right.
And they're trying to get a handle on that. But the water problem is even a bigger problem that we have. So the town, they first tried to get everybody to have, they wanted, in Madaket, they wanted to have septic put in there.
Right.
And the town, the people voted it down because they weren't clear about how much it was going to cost and where all the money was going to go. So now they want everybody to get their wells checked, and they think that they want to see where the contamination is at. And there's a real problem here for that. The farms are not, they're not regulated. No, they don't.
The farms here on the island.
The farms here on the island are not regulated. They don't tell you what they do, and they don't have to, because they're under a much different guideline. So they always they go after things that they can pick at. They can pick at the landscapers, and I get it. And you shouldn't have a really green lawn in the middle of summer, and then it come September and October, November, if your lawn is really bright green, there's something wrong, and that's because you've put down a lot of fertilizer, and I get that. After being in the landscape industry for 30 years or 25 years, I take a much more subtle approach. I don't use weed and feed. Mm-hmm. I don't like using a lot of chemicals anymore because it's not good for me. For me. I don't even care about them, but there are a lot of studies coming out.
Have you found with the weed and feed that you use on the turf to give you that great carpet look, does that bump the trees around there? Because the weed and feed, the weeding is a broadleaf herbicide, and trees are broadleaf.
Well, the way it's applied, no, doesn't really affect them. You always put it down in the early morning. At 6, there's just the leaves of the weeds. I don't know about the big picture of it getting into the root system and how it would affect that. But we do know that, and I'm sorry, but 2,4-D, who is made by Monsanto,
and a lot of other companies,
but they've now determined that there's a study that just came out. I saw in the paper, New York Times, a couple weeks ago about a 6-year study how it's giving cancer to all your pets,
sure,
who run on the lawns all day. So there's a big picture here that people have to be aware of, and they should be more careful of. And as a landscaper, I shouldn't be saying all this stuff.
Yeah.
And you're gonna. No, I'm saying, but
I agree with you.
I understand that there are other problems that we have here, and it's hard to fight against when you have these people that have hundreds of millions of dollars or more, mm-hmm. and it's hard to tell them, well, your lawn's supposed to die out in the summer.
It's supposed to go dormant.
It's supposed to go dormant. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that at all. They say, I won't swear, but that's what they say. They say, make it green.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is.
Now, I have heard that the 2,4-D does leach into the soil a bit, and that bumps the trees, and the trees won't defoliate, but they'll get chlorotic. And so then homeowners look at their trees and they say, okay, now I need iron for my trees. But I'm thinking if they just would go out and maybe pull that 1 or 2 dandelions instead of spreading 2,4-D throughout the entire lawn.
I don't know anything about that. I would say that I could agree with that, but it's much better to spot spray than hit the whole lawn. And the town's working very hard at educating all the landscapers, and all of them are educated, but it takes a lot more than just a couple day classes. I am part of a group called NOFA, and I go to classes in Boston twice a year.
Now tell me about NOFA.
It's I can't give the acronym behind it, but it's
what do they do?
It's about organic farming,
Okay,
organic,
good.
and the land bank pays for 2 or 3 landscapers a year at $5,000. They give them $5,000 to go out and take classes and go to Boston and get NOFA certified, and they do it on their dime.
So they can use less
chemicals.
Less chemicals.
And so you can learn more about it. And I kept telling when they sent me 15 years ago, I said, I'm only a one-man crew, and I am only a one-man crew.
Yeah.
You need to send the big people out there, and they have. They've sent Shampoo, and they've sent his crew, or parts of his crew, and they've sent
And
Marty
for
McGowan.
folks who are watching, Shampoo is not a product.
No, Shampoo is Dave Shampoo or Ben Shampoo.
Yeah.
And they've sent Marty McGowan, Gucci Gardner.
Sure.
And they've sent a lot of the other guys, but a lot of the problem, other people that we need to approach, and they're working on them, but there's a large Latino population on this island. They're landscapers, and we need to somehow get the word out to them. And they're becoming certified, but they're not.
They're certified so they can put down fertilizers.
Yeah.
And then they put down fertilizers.
And they do, but they don't always know what they're doing.
Education is important
Education is
for any
important,
group.
yes.
Who regulates that? Who says,
The town-
okay, you can put down...
The town has come up with, along with Ben Shampoo and Mike Mizzarelli, and there's a group here, and I can't tell you the name of it, but there's a whole group of regulations that they've come up with to help regulate it, and there's a big book out, and it tells you how much you can put down, and in the classes that we take here on the island at the police department, they show a video and they show you how to do it, and it's very good for everybody to understand that.
Sure.
So.
Now, beyond the landscape, I've seen you around town on a motorcycle.
Yeah, I've been riding motorcycles my whole life. I have a couple sidecars now, and I love it.
Yeah.
And
do you ever take a dog in your sidecar?
yes, I do. I have a dog, and
Tell
my
me
wife
about that dog.
My her name's Macy, and she really enjoys it. We've had her for 10, 12 years now, and she's starting to go blind, but she still enjoys the sidecar.
Of course, I can understand that. Is there a motorcycle group here?
There's a couple of motorcycle groups. We're loosely based, and I ride with a group of people that are non-drinkers. I found them to be the best. I enjoy them. A couple of them are sitting just up here.
Sure, sure.
But it's not like on a vineyard or like on a mainland where there's a big group of guys. We're a bunch of misfits here that all ride.
Well, I was once told early on when I first moved here, Nantucket is the island of misfit toys.
Well, that's exactly what we are.
Yeah. Well, Mac, it's been a pleasure talking
It
to you.
really has been a pleasure.
Thank you for stopping by.
I didn't think I'd do this, but I have really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Oh, good, good.
Thank you very much, Dino. Thank you.
Thank you, Mac.